I'm back with entrepreneur and strategist Matthew Peterson. He's the co-founder and president of newfounding.com. Check it out. Also founder of the American Mind, a publication of the Claremont Institute. Matthew, in a sense, it seems to me you're recommending, well, let me loosely call it the Fox News model, because as I remember, for decades, you had a number of organizations that would criticize bias in the media. The media is so left-wing, but conservatives didn't have any alternative. And then Roger Ailes came around and said, well, if we're right that half the country is not being served, why don't we create a new channel and people are going to flock to it because there's a demand for it and we're just supplying to those customers. What you seem to be saying is that this is also true across the board. It's not just in media. People don't want to subsidize woke corporations. In fact, what you're saying is there's a market for anti-wokeness. Am I right in understanding you? And if so, tell us how that market can be tapped.
Yeah, I think Fox News in the beginning is a perfect example, because it was saying we're going in a wholly new direction. We're going in with the news and with entertainment, right? With everything. And I think now the problem is usually whose editorial vision is at the top, who sees what unifies half plus the country, right? And can get that right. And so right now, that half plus the country, we're atomized. You know, we don't have a lot of outlets to see even how half the country lives, right? It's not allowed. You're not allowed to show that on TV. You could not show a happy, successful, conservative, traditional family on normal television. That would never get greenlit. We all know this. Well, that's devastating. And that makes that really hurts. And this is why, you know, all these forms of media are so important, because they help sell products and services, right? They bind it together into a movement. We don't have that. So that opportunity I think is there now. How do we get there? That's a difficult question, right? But first, the absolute first thing we need to realize is we have to think a lot bigger than we've been thinking in the past. We have to think, what would actually solve this problem? Have the attitude of a winner. What would winning look like? You know this yourself from what you have gone out and done, right? In terms of media. You have to think, what does it take to win? And if that takes alternative institutions, then damn it, that's what we're going to do. Right. But I think the difference now is it's much more practical than it was in the past, because the demand is there, because people are pining for this. And because the wokeness is so all pervasive, anything that goes in the other direction stands out immediately and people gravitate towards. So, you know, we can get into some practical details, but that I think is that's the move. The Fox News is the model. We need to build new things, but they have to be identified as part of a movement. Let me give you one example just real quick in politics. It might help people understand where we're at in the commercial and cultural space. You know, politics right now is really hard. It's hard for people to look at who's the real America First candidate. You know, who's really going to move us forward, right? And they're looking for some credentialing body, almost to say, this person is good, this person is establishment, this person is a grifter. Like, they want to see that. You know, they want to see someone tell them what are the good ones. It's the same way with companies, right? It's the same way with products. They need that curation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I know that, for example, even in the Christian space, you have coalitions of Christian entrepreneurs. If you want a Christian realtor, or if you want to support Christian business, there are sort of directories where you can do that. Would it be right to say that kind of where you're pointing is that we have to create, and I'll put this in the most ambitious way possible, we have to create our own America inside of America. And by that, I mean our own schools, our own universities, our own comedy, our own movies, so that we can live in that America, hopefully in peaceful coexistence with other people who want to live in a different sort of America. But this allows us to flourish in a world where we are not constantly being battered by the other side and forced to pay them to batter us.
Absolutely. I think that's absolutely it. We need an economy within an economy, a culture within a culture. And there's no reason we can't have that, because we have the numbers and we have the desire and we have the need. I think it's giving people permission to realize it's okay to think that way. And one thing that people will say is, well, Matt, isn't what you're describing is going to tear the country apart? And I would say the country is already being torn apart. This could actually help us retake America. It's the only way out is through. We have to band together and start to reward, the businesses and the culture that we want and build the things we want together with people of like mind. The idea that would be considered wrong in some way is ridiculous. I mean, that's going to destroy you at this point if you stay in some of these places or you let your kids be educated by these people. And so you see winning examples all around. You can say in education, look at Hillsdale, look at what Larry Arnn, another fellow Claremonster, has accomplished. Look at Fox News, what they did. I mean, regardless of where it's at now, I mean, what they created was amazing. What Ailes' vision was realized. No one thought it was possible. And now you have all these people. The first sign of what's going on is all these people moving across the country. And it's not just, blue locusts from blue states moving. You have significant evidence that places like, it's not all roses, but places like Texas and Florida are redditing. They are not, going, and they're becoming more conservative. And so people are moving. And you also see any business that kind of, plants a flag for just 5 seconds, people will flock to when they say it's not woke. So really where we're at is thinking we need the most talented people out there to start banding together in finance, tech, and media to start thinking about how we incubate the things that are needed that will really help drive a movement, light a fire that just, starts lighting itself all over the place.
Matthew, these are great ideas. And, maybe I'll just recommend you start thinking about, and I can help you with this as well. We should do some sort of a summit where we explore all this in more concrete detail,
Yes.
Because I'll tell you that, the donors, the billionaires on our side, they know there's a problem, but they don't have a clear understanding of what it is and what they can do about it. Very often their solution is something like, let's have a dinner for Joe Manchin to try to see if we can get him to hold out for like one more week before the lions start eating us. And this, I think what you're saying is hardly a viable long-term strategy. Hey, thanks for joining me on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.